What's good, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Press Box. I'm your host, Russ Morris, and we've got a lot to get into today as the UIL has released its realignment for the 2026-27 through the 2027-28 school years, and there's a lot that went down. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get right on to it. So, we're going to start small school districts to big school districts. So we're going to take a look at 1A Division 2. We're going to go ahead and take a look at them first. So in 1A Division 2, there's nothing really that stood out other than the Benjamin Mustangs, have been moved over into Region 3 with the Knox City Greyhounds. And they're in the same district with Haskell Paint Creek, Luders, Abaca, and Rule. Now, why is that important? Well, they're in the same region with Strawn, and that's big because they moved Richland Springs, the team that Jayton beat in last year's 1A Division II state championships. So the 1A Division II state runners-up are moved into Region 2, and the state semifinalists Strawn are in the same region with Benjamin, and the Benjamin Mustangs won the 2023 1A Division II state championship. So this is huge. Now that Jayton has been moved into 1A Division 1, and I'll get to Jayton here in just a little bit, but this is big because now looking at the rest of the district that Benjamin is in, as long as Benjamin can take care of Strawn, there is no reason as to why the Benjamin Mustangs are not at least in the state semifinal or the 1A Division II state championship. And now we look at Region 1, and this is where this region is going to eat each other alive. Mainly in District 2, because we have Paducah and Motley County are in the same district, and they were both ranked in the 1A Division II top 10 per the AP poll and Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And if Motley County had not ran into Klondike, who's to say, So it's wide open now that Jayton is gone. So another team to keep your eye on that's in the same district in region with Richland Springs in District 2 is Cherokee. Cherokee was a sleeper team. They were in the same district with Benjamin last year, I believe. And Cherokee is a sleeper team. They were ranked inside the top 6 in the state of Texas in 1A Division II all year long last year. They came out of nowhere, I think, in the first 3 weeks of the season, and they just stayed inside the top 10 to finish the season off. So that's a team I think to keep your eye out for. I think Region 2 is going to come down between these teams: Richland Springs, Cherokee, and Balmorhea. And then you look over to Region 3, it's Benjamin and Strawn's for the taking. I'm not sure about Region 4. I think Apple Springs might have something to say there. But if you go back to Region 1, it's literally between Paducah and Motley County. The district champion of that one is probably going to wind up making their way to the state semifinal. So now that we go over to 1A Division 1, and this is where things get interesting, because Klondike is in Region 2. They're in 1A Division 1 now. Them and the Jayton Jaybirds have moved up to 1A Division 1. And why is that important? Well, they're Sands, Klondike are in the same district with Borden County and Ira and O'Donnell and Westbrook. And that's big because they're in District 5. Rankin, the 1A Division 1 state runners up, is in District 6. So either Borden County or Klondike are going to have to go through Rankin in the first round of the playoffs next year. That is insane. And then over in Region 3, nothing has changed really. Gordon is still there. It's probably going to be between Gordon and District 3. I think they're going to take that handedly. And then you got Abbott right there as well. So I think it'll be between Gordon and Abbott in that state semifinal over there. But moving back over to regions 1 and region 2, don't sleep on Sterling City is back in 6-man, and that's big. They're in the same district with Verabest and Water Valley. They're in District 8, that last district in Region 2. So that's going to be fun. I feel bad for Spur because Spur got the short end of the stick in this deal here. Spur, Roby, and Rotan are in the same district with Jayton, Hermley, and Aspermont. So, yeah, that's big. And plus, that's only District 4 of Region 1. Yes, they put Borden County and Klondike. You know, if you're out here in West Texas, Borden County is just south of Post and over in Gale, and Klondike is over in Lamesa pretty much. And they put everybody over in Lamesa, you know, over along Highway 80, along Highway 87 around that way. They consider that Region 2. So they put Jayton in Region 1, and this is wild to me because Jayton will have to, because if Jayton is going to go for the three-peat, like I believe that they can, the Jaybirds will have to beat Hermley for the district championship. Then they'll get the Happy Cowboys. They'll play either the Happy Cowboys or the Crest Kangaroos in the first round of the playoffs, and then the second round, you know, for the regional quarterfinal. For the regional semifinal. It's going to be between, you know, Jayton's probably going to have to go through Whiteface. So Jayton's going to have to go through Whiteface and Happy just to play Rankin, Borden County, or Klondike. So this is, if you like football out where the South Plains and the Big Country kind of meet, you're going to love football in West Texas next year. So this is going to be fun. Now, let's take a look now over in Conference 2A. Let's take a look at 2A Division 2. So we're going to start over in District 1, and there's not a lot of change in this district, to be honest. The only biggest deal is West Texas Stinnett, the Comanches that played in the 2A Division 1 state semifinal last year. They moved down to 2A Division 2, and they're in the same district with Bovina, Groover, Stratford, and Vega. So that's all one district there. And then in District 2, it's Morton, Plains, Ropes, Seagrave, Smyre, and Sudan. And then District 3, Lockney, Pathway Academy, which is a charter school out over in Big Spring. They're in the same district with Roscoe, Tahoka, Crosbyton, and Rawls. Rawls and Crosbyton are actually in 1A in the spring sports. They've opted up to play 11-man ball for this upcoming realignment. So they're going to stay at 11-man for football, just like another school that I'm getting to in District 4 in Region 1 in Ira Ann. The Ira Ann Braves, they have opted up to play 11-man football, and they're going to be in 1A and everything else. So that is Region 1. It's going to be brutal again. Everything along the South Plains, West Texas, Stinnett, Gruber, and Stratford, that's something to behold up there in the Texas Panhandle. And then in the Lubbock, South Plains area. I think Ropes, unless something catastrophic happens, Ropes should run away with that district for the next 2 years. And then Wink with it's Ira Ann, Wink, Van Horn, McCamey, and El Dorado in District 4. You're looking at probably West Texas Stinnett, either West Texas Stinnett, Ropes, and Wink. Those two probably meet. Those three have a chance to meet each other in the third round of the playoffs. That's the regional. That's the regional semifinal. The regional final. This is big. Ropes could play Wink in the regional semifinal, because I think Ropes should have no problem getting out of the first 2 rounds. Let's just be honest. The interesting district is District 3. I think that's going to be between Lockney, Roscoe, and Tahoka. To be honest, I don't know about Crosbyton. I know they've been rebuilding, and I know Rawls. Let's just call it like it is. I'm a sports writer over here in Post, and over the spring and over the summer of last year, Post got a lot of transfers that came from Rawls. There's a lot of families that moved down Highway 207 and came all the way into Garza County, and so I don't know what Rawls is going to look like next year. Let's just call it like it is. So I have no idea. But Region 1 is going to be fun. Now, Region 2, I think, is my favorite district of this right here. In District 5 of Region 2, it's Clarendon, Memphis, Quanah, Wellington, Wheeler, Shamrock. No change. Shamrock, they're another school that has turned in 1A numbers, but they're going to opt up to play 11-man ball, and they're going to compete at the 1A level for everything else. This district and that District 5 will play District 6 in the first round of the playoffs, which contains Archer City, Electra, Haskell, Monday, Petrolia, Seymour, and Windthorst. That's the same district as it was this last round of realignment. No change there. Monday should be known. Monday turned in 2A numbers across the board for everything for the next 2 years. So the Monday Moguls and the Monday Mogulettes will compete at the 2A level in all sports going forward. That should be, and they're looking for a new athletic director. So Archer City, I think I think it should be between Archer City, Seymour, and Windthorst. I think Monday will come around not next year, but the year after, once they get a new athletic director and once they get things going the way they want it to go. They've had a slow build. Monday has. They won the 1A state championship in 2012 and 2013, and then they've been slowly building since. I don't remember what they competed at in 2018 and 19, but they had I think they were actually 2A then, and they had a meeting in 2019 at the school at one of their school board meetings to vote if they were going to go back to 1A or not. And the jury's out on what happened after that. I couldn't find an article that talked about what happened there, but ever since the time I've been writing for the Knox County News Courier this entire school year, they've been, as long as I've done my history on them, they've been 2A. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on going forward, because Monday's in an interesting location because they're just south of Wichita Falls. So let's see how Monday does over the next 2 to 3 years. District 7, it's another fun one in Region 2. Albany, Cross Plains, Goldthwaite, Hamlin, Miles, Stamford, winners. Stanford is another one of the schools that has dropped down from 2A Division 1 to 2A Division 2. And they and Albany are in the same district. And welcome to 2A Division II, Stanford, because you get to play this district in District 8 in the first round of the playoffs, which is Crawford, Frost, Hubbard, Mart, Meridian, Santo, and Wortham. Crawford, they also dropped down from 2A Division 1 to 2A Division 2. Crawford and Timpson were in the same district for years, so Crawford has dropped down. And Crawford and Mart, sign me up for that. Yes, please. I'll take that all day. It's going to be fun. Nothing else has really changed. Looking at Region 3 and Region 4. I think a lot of the same. I think you're going to see a lot of the same contenders coming out of Region 3 and Region 4. Region 4, Bremond. Now, this is interesting. Bremond is in an 8-team monster district. It's Bartlett, Bremond, Burton, Chilton, Holland, Milano, Snook, and Somerville. That's going to be brutal for Bremond because they're going to have to play, I think, 2 or 3 less pre-district games. So Bremond's going to have it rough, but that's just life in Texas high school football, you know. So this is going to be interesting for 2A Division 2. And it's going to be just as brutal over in 2A Division 1 because there was a lot of movement and a lot of surprises going on in this one. So in 2A Division 1, you're going to see a pattern when I go through these realignments all the way up to one of the 4A districts. And I'll get to that when I get to it here in just a little bit. But in 2A Division 1, it's a lot of 5-team districts, maybe some 7 teams, but there's a lot of 17 districts, not a lot of 8-team monsters. But I bring that up for this because Region 1 is basically all kept together pretty much. The District 1 in Region 1 is Amarillo, Highland Park, Panhandle, Sanford Fritz, Spearman, and Sunray. Okay, they only lost West Texas Stinnett in that district, so a 5-team district there. District 2, this is where the change starts coming in. Farwell, Hale Center, and Tulia have moved up. Farwell and Hale Center have moved up from 2A Division 2 into 2A Division 1. Tulia has fallen down from 3A Division 2 to 2A Division 1. Sundown, I'll get to them here in just a second. They are the other one that has moved up from 2A Division 2 into 2A Division 1. Anyway, in District 2 last year, it was Floydada, Olton, Abernathy, New Deal, New Home, and Post. Well, change. District 2 for 2026 through 2020, for the 2026 and the 2027 football seasons are Farwell, Floydada, Hale Center, Olton, and Toya. So that's a 5-team district right there. So then you go over to District 3. This is where it gets fun. So Abernathy, New Deal, New Home, Post, and Sundown are the 5-team district. Post, Abernathy, New Deal, and New Home move into District 3. So Post doesn't go south like I had originally predicted that they were. They haven't moved south for a district, but their entire playoff path to get to the state semifinal or the regional final, they will be making a home right around in between Snyder and Abilene for the remainder of the playoffs, pretty much. So in District 4, this is the one that I kind of raised my eyebrows at when I first saw it Monday morning. In District 4, it's Ballinger, Reagan County, Cristoval, Colorado City, Forsan, Ozona, and Sonora. And why do I raise my eyebrow at that? They separated Ballinger and Coleman, who were in the same district last year. And I'll get to Coleman here in just a second. But let's stay in Region 1 and finish up the conversation in Region 1 for now. Region 1 is now wide open. So if you looked at how Region 1 has gone from last year and the year before, the majority of the teams that were ranked inside the top 25 in the state of Texas for the AP poll, the majority of them took place in Region 1. Well, then in Region 1, you had Cisco, Hawley, Anson, Stanford. You had you had perennial powers in the big country that were that last district in Region 1. So everybody was kind of beating up on each other, in order to get to the playoffs. Now they moved the big country all the way into Region 2. So they basically put the South Plains, and they drew a line between the Concho Valley and the Permian Basin, and they put them in District 4. So it's going to be fun. If you are Spearman, Panhandle, Farwell, Hale Center, Abernathy, New Deal, New Home Post, and Sonora, and I'll throw Ozona in there maybe. That's about 9 teams that you think feel like they have a pretty good chance at making it to the state semifinal. That's big. That's crazy to me. So, and if they do get to the state semifinal, of course, Region 1 plays Region 2. Well, in Region 2, you have this group of teams. In District 5, it's Abilene, TLCA, Anson, Cisco, DeLeon, Hawley, and Hyco in District 5. District 6, Alvord, Chico, Munster, Nocona, Olney, Tioga. So they grouped all of the big country along Interstate 20, and all of the schools right outside of Wichita Falls up around the Seymour area. They put those 2 teams in the first 2 districts of Region 2. Well, the southernmost teams in Region 2 are District 7 and District 8. District 7 is Bangs, Brady. Yes, Brady falls from 3A Division 2 to 2A Division 1. They are in the same district with Coleman, Johnson City, LBJ, Mason, and San Saba. Yes. So they put Ballinger and Sonora in the same district, but they kept Coleman and Mason, but they grouped Coleman and Mason together. It's the UIL. Nothing makes sense. They do what they want. And then the same district from last year in District 8, minus one school in particular, Axtell, Boscoville, Dawson, Italy, Itasca, Roselle, and Valley Mills. Axtell, man, Axtell felt like going in around the realignment after last year. After the last couple of years, they felt like, man, if it wasn't for Hamilton, if it wasn't for Hamilton, they had a great shot at making it to the state semifinal, and man, they just now Axtell has to go through Munster. They got to go through Coleman, Mason, Brady, Cisco, Anson, DeLeon, and Hawley. So it's going to be fun to see what they do going forward. Excuse me. I think this is the toughest region in Conference 2A Division 1. I think that by far. The District of Doom in 2A Division 1 so far is Anson, Cisco, DeLeon, Hawley, Hyco, and Abilene TLCA. No offense to the rest of them, but given what I see right now, that's where we're at. Looking over to Region 3, some changes maybe. Not a lot. a lot of those same teams, Timpson, Joaquin and Timpson. Joaquin just played in the state championship against Hamilton, so the state runners up, they're going to, all eyes are going to be on them, but they're going to have to go through Timpson to get back to if they want to try to get back to the state championship game, that's what they're going to have to do. Here's what's interesting. I'm looking over to Region 4. Shiner's back in 2A Division 1. They moved up from 2A Division 2 to 2A Division 1. Shiner and Ganado are in the same district. Yes, please. Sign me up for that. Now, why is that interesting? Because their path, those two teams' path to the playoffs, they'll have to meet Refugio at some point because Shiner and Ganado are in District 15. Refugio's in District 16, the last district in 2A Division 1. So this is, again, Conference 2A Division 1. This is where it's not as tradition-rich and eye-popping as the bigger schools at the 4A, 5A, and 6A levels, but it's always brutal and dog-eat-dog, and it's traditionally one of the more physical conferences in Texas high school football because of where everybody's at. So that's 2A, and that's all the Conference 2A. Now let's go to 3A Division 2, and there were some changes. Some changes that caught my eye. Again, so let's just get right into it. In Region 1 and District 1, no change. Amarillo River Road, Canadian, Childress, Dimmitt, Friona. Okay, the only change, Toya. They fall down. District 2, no change. Idalou, Littlefield, Roosevelt, Muleshoe, Slayton. No change there. District 3, you're going to see one team missing in this district. It's Alpine, Anthony, Cahoma, Crane, San Angelo, Grape Creek, and Stanton. You're saying to yourself, where's Wall? Well, the 3A Division 2 state champions are in 3A Division 1 starting next season. And then you go down to District 4. It's Breckenridge, Henrietta, Holiday, Jacksboro, Merkel, and Wichita Falls, Cityview. Region 1, again, Wall's gone. So now you're looking at Region 1. It's like, okay, all eyes go to Canadian now. And it's like, okay, if you are who you say you are, you should be making the state semifinal for the next 2 years. If you're Idalou, the team that has lost to Canadian to, the last 2 years in a row, you got to be saying to yourself, man, if we can just get past Canadian, it's ours for the taking. If you're Slayton, team that has been building the last couple of years, and then last year, they had their best season in 40 years. Getting out of the area around, for the first time in forever. You're saying to yourself, all we got to do is beat Idalou, win the district, and we can get to the regional semifinal again. Who knows what can happen? Well, let's take a look at Region 2 because you're going to also see another team that is noticeably missing. If I'm too loud, sorry, let me fix that. Yep, right there. So, Region 2, Clifton, Comanche, Dublin, Eastland, Hamilton. The 2A Division 1 state champions are now in 3A Division 2, along with Millsap, Rio Vista, and Tulare. Interesting. Hamilton and Tulare in the same district. Yes, please. Now, District 6. This is who District 5 will have to play in the first round of the playoffs. You have Dallas Charter Academy, Dallas Madison, Inspired Vision Academy Dallas, Maypearl, Mesquite PTAA, Scurry Rosser, and Trinity Leadership, Cedar Hill. A lot of new schools this year. You're going to see a pattern of that. I don't have a list on me of the new schools. Um, I will try to update that because over the next over the next 3 years, and you're going to see it more at the 5A level than you will. There's going to be an influx of new schools created, and it's going to be in the East Texas area. You're going to see a lot of that, where a lot of the new schools are going to come out. Are going to come out of Tyler. I think Dallas is getting ready to add some new ones. So I mean, I just read like 2 or 3 of them off right here in District 6. So there's going to be a lot more charter schools come out. So I am very interested to see, because a lot of the charter schools that are going to be coming forward, and I'll touch on this a little bit more when I get to when we start talking about 6A here in just a little bit. Um, we're going to have to start having serious conversations about a 7A because of the charters, because of the charter schools, and it's going to affect the cutoff numbers next year. But I digress. Let's continue with 3 Division 2. District 7, Bells, Blue Ridge, Calsburg, Howey, Lenard, Sadler, SNS Consolidated, and Valley View. And then in District 8, Big Sandy, Harmony, Edgewood, Grand Saline, Lone Oak, Paris Chisholm, Pattonville, Prairie Land, and Quitman. So I'm looking at Region 2, and I think it should be between Hamilton. It should be either Hamilton or Tulare for the taking. I would not be surprised if Hamilton and Tulare actually run through everybody and meet each other again and have a rematch in the playoffs. That would be fun. Now, over in Region 3, this is where things are getting a little crazy. Oh, forgot to mention. I did not mention Gunner in that region. You know why? Because Gunner is also in 2A. I mean, in 3A Division 1. So, Region 2 is wide open. I forgot to mention that. So, yeah. That's where we are in 3 so far right now. That's where we are in 3 Division 2. In Region 3, we got Dangerfield, DeKalb, Hooks, Hughes Springs, New Boston, Queen City, and Redwater. I think Dangerfield has a legit chance at winning the district championship in this district. Now, I'm not saying I do have some family ties over in Dangerfield. My aunt is the head girls track coach, so I may be a tad bit biased, but this name should sound familiar. Name's Armando Lujan. He was the quarterback for Sunray 2 years ago. Okay, he had an offensive coordinator that had a hand in developing him. Well, that offensive coordinator left. I think at the end of last year, and at the end of the 2024 season, he bailed to take the offensive coordinator job at Dangerfield, and it was specifically because of what he did with Armando Lujan. So Dangerfield's offense has been building and building and building to get back to what it used to be. Keep an eye out on the Dangerfield Tigers for the 2026 football season. Just saying. Now let's take a look at District 10. You have ARP, New Diana, Jefferson, New London, West Rusk, Troop, and Winona. New Diana is going to have a say as to who gets out of this region. They will. They always do. ARP is the same way. Now we take a look at District 11: Blooming Grove, Buffalo, Elkhart, Mildred, Rice, and Teague. That's another tough district. I look at District 12: Hardin, Kuntz, New Waverly, Newton, Warren, Woodville, Newton. Perennial power. Okay, if you're gonna get to the state championship in Region 3, Region 4, you got to go through Newton. So that should be fun. as far as to see what Newton has thrown at them, because over in Region 4, it's Anderson, Shiro, Florence, Lexington, Rogers, Schulenburg, and Thrall. District 14, Alta Rice, Bowling, East Bernard, Elm, Matone, Tidehaven, Van Vleck, Vanderbilt, Industrial, and Wallace Brazos. I mean, what can I say? East Bernard. I'm waiting for East Bernard to just like break out and just go on a run in Region 4. I haven't, I mean, I've been reading articles coming out of the Tyler area about East Bernard, but I'm just waiting to see it happen. So, Hoth in District 15, that's brutal. I mean, there were Comfort, Blanco, Karn City, Nixon, Smiley, I think San Antonio Young Men's Leadership in Stockdale, and then lastly, District 16, Katuya, George West, Hebronville, Odom, Santa Rosa, and Fall Furious. So, what can I say? This is another brutal division, and just like that, we moved to Division 1, and it's much more the same. Other than, a lot of your powers, a lot of your 3A powers, they've all been now moved up into 3 Division 1. Like, for example, okay, Shallow Water and Dalhart and Bushland, okay, they kept that district together. That's the same. But Jim Ned, Sweetwater, Odessa Academy, Lamesa, Kermit, and Clyde, that's District 2. Then in District 3, it's Wall, San Angelo, TLCA, Llano, Ingermore, and Early. Well, Wall won't have to see anybody brutal until the third round of the playoffs. So this is, yeah, this is going to be something to behold. Watching all of this, because the defending state champs are where they are, and then you move over to Region 2, Gunner, the state semifinalist that lost uh, to Wall. They're with Dallas, Life, Oak Cliff, Dallas A+, Pilot Point, Pottsboro, and Wattsboro. So they have, I mean, you tell me, their toughest competition is probably gonna come in the playoffs as well. I mean, they're gonna have to go through Atlanta or Tatum, Mineola or Malakoff, Mineola, or Mount Vernon. So I again sign me up for all of that. And then just scrolling through, just browsing through everything. Um, not not a lot of changes I think were made um, in this other one. So Cameron Yo and Franklin in the same district. Cameron Yo, tradition rich program. Franklin, the only team I think left in the state of Texas that traditionally runs the slot T and will make you like it. So that's going to be an interesting one. And they're in there with Little River Academy as well. So that should be fun to go. Now let's look at 4A. Okay. I'm going to start in 4A Division 1. So 4A Division 1 has the only 4-team district in the state of Texas. Yes, you heard me say that correctly. And it's because they had no choice. It was either, okay, District 3 of Region 1. Let me go through it. It's Andrews, Midland Greenwood, Plainview, and San Angelo Lakeview. Okay, so they put Plainview and Andrews together. Okay, and you'll probably say to yourself, well, that's not that bad. Well, Plainview will have to go to Midland and San Angelo for a district game. And considering where Plainview's at, I mean, would you rather have Plainview in District 3, or would you have Plainview in District 2 with Canyon, Canyon Randall, Canyon West Plains, Dumas, Hereford, and Pampa in a 7-team district? and then move one of the El Paso schools over to play Andrews, Midland Greenwood, and San Angelo Lakeview. I think there were two options there. I think they just tried to keep everything together because El Paso has their own district in 4A Division 1. Pretty much. It's El Paso Andrés, El Paso Austin, Riverside, Ysleta, and San Elizario. So do what you will there. Um, District 4 in that region, in Region 1, this is interesting. It's Springtown, River Oaks, Castleberry, Lake Dallas, Godley, Decatur, Carlton, Ranchview, Aubrey, and Alvarado. Oof. Now, looking at Region 2, this is where Fort Worth and Dallas have all of their districts. Okay. In District 5, it's Fort Worth, Benbrook, Carter, Riverside, Dunbar, Eastern Hills, Southwest, Western Hills, and Hill Jarvis, and then Kennedale. And then District 6 is Dallas Carter, Conrad, Hutchins, Kimball, Lincoln, Pinkston, Roosevelt, Spruce, and then North Dallas. So all of that's there. Um, there are two schools that I have my eye on in Region 2, Palestine and Tyler Chapel Hill. I do. I have my eyes on those two in in this district. And then if I'm going to look at some schools in District 7, I think Sulphur Springs and Mudbank, I think I think they could make some noise. Again, looking over, um, this one was interesting to me. Stephenville is in Region 3. They're no longer in Region 2. Yes, Stephenville. Actually, they weren't. I mean, not even in Region 1 anymore. Stephenville is in the same district with Marble Falls, Lampasas, Gerald, China Spring, and Burnett. This is going to be fun to watch Stephenville run through this because there's a potential matchup looking at just looking at this. You could have a matchup between two state powers, and that's Stephenville in Region 3 and then Corpus Christi Cal Allen in District 15. Um, yeah, it's uh, it's looking like it's going to be fun. Like, I've I've said that word all stream long, and trust me, like there's a lot of head scratchers that the UIL did, but there's a lot of stuff that the UIL got right, and this one I think's one. Um, Stephenville possibly playing either Corpus Christi Cal Allen or Corpus Christi Toluso Midway. I think Toluso Midway is going to wind up winning that district. And then just looking at everything else, Lavernia in District 14 with Floresville, Medina Valley Creek View, Pleasanton, San Antonio, Kennedy, Somerset, and Uvalde. Um, I mean, there's there's a lot that you can't argue with. Other and if you want to if you want to nitpick what they did with giving a 4-team district to Andrews, Midland Greenwood, Plainview, San Angelo, Lakeview, I mean, you could, like I said earlier, put Plainview in District 2 and then put one of the El Paso schools in District 3. But, I mean, this one's pretty solid. So let's move to 4A Division 2. And again, El Paso got another district. Clinton, Mountain View, El Paso, Bowie, Irvin, and then Fabens. And then in District 2, Big Spring, Fort Stockton, Monahans, Pecos, Seminole, and Snyder. District 3, Borger, Levelland, Lubbock, Cooper, Liberty, Lubbock, Estacado, Perryton. District 4, Bridgeport, Brock, Burke, Burnett, Graham, Iowa Park, and Mineral Wells. Again, Brock, Graham, and Iowa Park in the same district. Now that's where. No, never mind. Never mind. I'm thinking of a different school. Anyway, Brock, Graham, and Iowa Park alone. That's going to be awesome to watch Brock try to navigate their way through that district. Um, that's literally it. Um, okay, Region 2, Carthage, Gilmer, Texarkana, Pleasant Grove, Longview, Spring Hill, and then Pittsburgh and Center in the same district. Man, Carthage, Gilmer, and Texarkana, Pleasant Grove in the same district alone. Carthage, 4A powerhouse. One of the most storied programs in the state of Texas will now have to go through Texarkana, Pleasant Grove. Yes, please. Okay, and then lastly, just looking around the rest of 4A Division 2, um, again, there's no noticeable changes. We can go from there. So now let's go to the big schools. Let's go to 5A. Let's start in 5A Division 2. Again, the El Paso schools again have another district. Canutillo, El Paso, then El Paso Burgess, Chapin, Del Val, and Jefferson. Okay, no surprise there. This is where I'm kind of like, okay, I see what they're going for here. District 2, Abilene Cooper, Abilene Wiley, Amarillo, Paladuro, Lubbock Cooper, Lubbock Coronado, Wichita Falls Legacy, and Wichita Falls Memorial. Okay, and then District 3, Argyle, Colleyville Heritage, Eagle Mountain, Grapevine, Louisville, the Colony, Lovejoy, and then Nevada Community. Then in District 4, Anna, Salina, Denison, Frisco, then Frisco, Emerson, Independence, Memorial, Panther Creek, and Prosper, Richland. Frisco Panther Creek, I think, is the team to watch for in this region. Frisco Panther Creek meeting up with Argyle and either Argyle or Lucas Lovejoy in the third round of the playoffs is a major possibility. And then don't sleep on, man, if I'm looking at District 2, don't sleep on Abilene Wiley. I think it'll be between the two Abilene schools and Lubbock Cooper to win that district for sure. Looking at Region 2, again, South Oak Cliff, they're in Region 2. They're with all of the Dallas schools. Um, I think having, I think this region will come down between South Oak Cliff in Region 2, Terrell, who got hot early, plateaued at the end last year a little bit. Keep your eye out on Terrell. They're with White House, Texarkana, Nacogdoches, Mount Pleasant, Marshall, Hallsville, and Greenville. Keep your eye out on them. And then just going through, so going through everything else, I don't see a lot of alerts coming out of Region 3. Maybe Fort Bend Marshall and Fort Bend Crawford. Maybe in Region 3, that would be where I would look for if you want to piggyback on somebody and watch them try to make a run in the playoffs. Those two would be it. Other than that, not a lot of movement, nothing else calling my name. Over in 5A Division 1, this is where I'm like looking at it, it's like, okay, this is where the rubber's going to have to meet the road here. Again, the El Paso district, they got all the El Paso schools right in that one. Clinton Horizon, El Paso, Americas, Bel Air, El Dorado, Hanks, and Parkland. Okay, now this is where, this district here is going to be brutal. And tomorrow, I'll touch on I might do some basketball districts tomorrow, but tomorrow we'll mainly talk about the Super Bowl, but I'll touch on that here towards the end of the show. District 2 of 5A Division 1 in Region 1, Abilene High, Amarillo High, Amarillo Caprock, Tascosa, Friendship Memorial, Lubbock High, Lubbock Monterey, and Friendship. That is brutal. Hey, that's all. That's also the basketball district as well. Oof. that's that's all I can say. Is just oof. Um, and then looking over in District 3 because District 2 is going to eat each other alive. They will. And once they're done going through a gauntlet of that district, you'll have to prepare yourself for this. Azle, Denton, Denton Ryan, Chisholm Trail, Keller, Fossil Ridge, Saginaw, and Sherman. You win that district, you get Denton Ryan in the third round of the playoffs. Have fun. And then going through everything else, DeSoto is now in District 2 from 5A Division 1. DeSoto fell from 5A to 6A. I mean, from 6A to 5A. Sorry. DeSoto is with Cedar Hill, Burleson Centennial, Cleburne, Lancaster, Mansfield Legacy, Mansfield Summit, and Midlothian. Man, that is brutal for DeSoto. Now, if DeSoto is who we think they are, the defending 6A state champs. Or am I thinking of Galena Park North Shore 6A champs? You correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but DeSoto, who just played in the 6A state championships, if they are who they think they are, they should have no problem getting to the state semifinal and meeting up with Denton Ryan, and then or before playing in the regional final and going against Melissa or Frisco Lone Star. So do with that with what you will. Um, and then just making sure going through everything. Um, Lufkin in Region 3. Keep your eye out on Lufkin as well with Port Arthur Memorial, New Caney, LaPorte, Galveston Ball, Beaumont Westbrook, Beaumont United, Baytown Sterling, and Baytown Goose Creek Memorial. Keep your eye out there. Katie Freeman. This is a new school. They are in 5A Division 1. Okay, they're in with Richland Randall, Pasadena, South Houston, Victoria East, Friendswood, Fort Bend, Dulles, Angleton, and Alvin, Iowa Colony. Okay. Katie Freeman is believed that they have the talent that can compete. So if you want a team that's going to come out of nowhere, Katie Freeman. I'm telling you, invest some stock in Katie Freeman. They are going to take the world by storm. Now, 6A. The little little Southwest Conference stays the same. It's Midland Lee, Odessa Permian, San Antonio Central. Nothing there. Nothing new there. Now, I was wondering what they would do with Aledo. Would they put Aledo and South Lake Carroll in the same district? Would they put Aledo in the same district with Midland and Midland Lee? Or what would they have done? So Aledo is with Arlington, and then Arlington Bowie, Houston Lamar, Granbury, and Weatherford. Okay, no surprise there. Keeping everybody within travel distance. South Lake Carroll, they're with Fort Worth, Boswell, Keller Central, Timber Creek, Northwest, and Northwest Eaton, and Nelson. Okay, so again, keeping everybody together. And then just looking at Region 2 and Region 3, man, I don't know where to begin. Um, okay, let's start in Region 2, and let's start in District 12. It's Bryan, Copperas Cove, Killeen, Chaparral, Harker Heights, Lake Belton, Temple, and Waco Midway. Lake Belton, Temple, Waco Midway, and Bryan. That's going to be fun to watch at how those two navigate that district. Um, District 15, Klein, and then Klein Kane, Collins, Forest Oak, Magnolia, Magnolia West, Tomball, Tomball Memorial. That'll be fun. North Crowley, who's going to have a new coach leading them this year. They promoted their defensive coordinator to their head coach. North Crowley, Dallas Skyline, Duncanville, Mansfield, Mansfield Lake Ridge, Red Oak, and Waxahachie. Good Lord, that is a gauntlet of a district. That is. Again, in Region 3, Sheldon CE. Yeah, let me make sure I have that right. Yeah, Sheldon King, Humble Summer Creek, Humble Kingswood, Humble Atascocita, Humble, Galena Park North Shore, Crosby, Channelview. That right there, they're going to eat each other alive. That is the creme. That's one of the creme de la creme districts that we have here. Um, it is crazy to me that is what that those have been paired together. Um, Again, Austin, Lake Travis, Westlake, Round Rock McNeil, Round Rock Stony, Westwood, and then Cedar Ridge. No shockers there. The shocker to me is that Lake Travis and Dripping Springs not in the same district, but I see what they did because it's Austin, then Atkins, Bowie, Buda Hayes, Buda Johnson, Doval, and Dripping Springs again. I see what they did, and you got no complaints from me. And so yeah, so that's your look at your football districts for 2026 through 2028 for this round of realignment. So let me know in the comments what you thought. What is your favorite district? What teams are you looking for to make a run? Um, what teams do you think are going to come out of nowhere? What games are you looking forward to seeing the most? What is your most intriguing matchup? Just again, there's just a lot that the UIL did, and can understand why they did it that way, as opposed to the rumor of consolidating all the districts. Thank the Lord they didn't do that. But just seeing what they did, I think they got it right this time around. So, all right, that'll do it for me. I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll preview the Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Seahawks. Again, this has been another edition of the Press Box. This is Russell Morris signing off. See ya.